Hey guys, welcome to Cameras and Cats. Today we're going to review the Mamiya 645, and this is one of my favorite cameras of all time, but sadly I have to sell it because I decided to buy the Contax 645, which is my dream camera. I wanted to do a review before I got rid of it, so let's do it. Today we are going to talk about the Mamiya 645, and this is a 120 camera, medium format, and it's one of my favorite ones that I've ever had. I've had this camera for about 4 years, and you know, I don't really shoot with it that much, but when I do shoot with it, it's always like really exciting and I love the pictures. I paid about $850 for it, and that included the lens and the strap and the lens cap with the Mamiya on it. So this is the 80mm lens, and this is the one that everybody recommends getting. It's kind of like just the classic lens. It looks really good for portraits, and you definitely wouldn't be sad if you got this lens. It's like a good starter lens for it. And then from there you can always upgrade. So I'll show you guys some of my favorite pictures that I've taken from weddings and fashion shoots and portraits and all kinds of stuff. It weighs about 4.5 pounds, which is pretty heavy, which is why I don't really use it that much, but the Contax weighs about the same, but for some reason it doesn't feel as heavy. And I don't know why. I think it's like the shape of the camera. This is just like a big giant box. And they're like kind of similar in that they're like very giant, and I can't really travel with both of them, so I really had to choose one, and the Contax is like the one I've wanted forever. So I finally bought it, and in order to afford it, I have to sell this one. I don't even know if I'm going to, if I'll be able to. I love the pictures, and the double exposures on it look awesome, so I'll have to show you guys some of those. One of my favorite things about this is that it has aperture priority and shutter priority, which whenever I get a camera I always make sure it has aperture priority because that's what I use for weddings, and like, you know, because you can shoot faster when you have it on that setting. You can kind of just set the aperture you want, which usually I'll do like, you know, the widest aperture that a lens will do just because I like the way it looks, or like, you know, close to the widest, so it's a little bit sharper. And in terms of sharpness, this lens is like super sharp, and honestly I'm really surprised at how sharp it is for only being $850, because the Contax is like, I paid like, oh my god, so much money. I don't even want to say it, but it's pretty painful. It was like $3,500, which is the most I've ever spent on a camera. And you know, in comparison, like this lens definitely isn't as sharp as the Contax, but like it's very sharp and still one of the sharpest cameras that I have. With this camera you can do like all manual, you can set everything you want, you can even like, you know, do manual focus, which I ended up using manual focus most of the time, and I mean I feel like the pictures turn out better that way because you're like deciding exactly what you want to focus on. This is the shutter button here, and you can put it on single or continuous if you're at a wedding and you want to shoot like multiple images in a row. This is the focus ring here, and then we've got, this is the little mode dial. You have to push down the button to turn it here. Here's where you see, this is where your counter is, your film dial. And what's nice about this camera is it also automatically tells you the ISO of the film, so you don't have to like set it, like you just put the film in and it somehow knows. It's kind of like magical. This is the viewfinder thing. You look through here and you can put a flash on. This is the thing for your eyes, so if you're like blind you can fix it and make it sharper or whatever. It has this little kind of digital screen here, so you can see like the aperture, and double exposures are actually really easy on this camera, which is something I'll miss because the Contax is It's really easy to do double exposures on the Contax, but it's also easy to mess them up because you can leave the setting on accident and accidentally shoot like triple exposures or quadruple and not even realize you're doing it. So with this camera, so you have to click the mode button and you'll see on the screen, it'll like pop up with the little multiple exposure button thing, and you can choose how many exposures you want to do. So you can be like, oh, like 1 exposure, 2 exposure, 3 exposure. So then you'll know exactly how many you're doing before you even do it. And I got really fast at this. Like eventually, you know, I'd shoot a wedding and I'd be like, bam, 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 and then I'd do it and I wouldn't even like think about it. So that's what's nice about it. But the Contax, I haven't fully gotten used to doing that yet. The only thing I don't like about this camera is I can't really travel with it because it's so heavy. So like I only took it on a few trips. I was able to take it cross country with me, and those are some of my favorite pictures I've taken with the camera. So I'll have to show you those. With this camera, you can also buy like a Polaroid back, and I know they have like a digital back. So the back I have on the camera is a 120 back, and let's see, so you basically take it out like this, pop it open, and you can take out the little film thing. Oh, I do have an extra spool. I was looking for one of these. Basically, when you're loading film, you'll put this one in the bottom here, and I have this little film roll so I can show you how to load it. And so then you wind it here with you can just use your own fingers or whatever. And then you want to line up this arrow with like kind of this little bar right here. And then what's nice about this, and it will like automatically roll it and put it in the right spot once you put it in. So you close it, then you move this here, and then when you turn it on, yeah, so it'll automatically roll it for you. And then it says 1 and it's ready to shoot. I don't know, I'm really sad about giving up this camera. You definitely won't regret it if you get it. $850, it's really not that bad of a price for such a cool camera, but just get ready to gain some muscle mass because it's very heavy. And I used to have it in my camera bags, and I would like go to a wedding and it'd be like, you know, I'd be shooting up or something and like have to stand up, and by the end of a wedding, like my leg muscles, my thigh muscles were so sore just because of this like crazy heavy camera that was in my bag. So yeah, that's why I ended up not taking it to a lot of shoots. But if this is gonna be like your main camera, like, good, you should do it. I took this camera with me to the coast not too long ago, and we took some photos. That was kind of like my farewell shoot to the camera. So I'll show you guys some of those photos. I'm definitely gonna miss it, but you know, it served me well throughout its time. You definitely won't be sorry with this camera. It's one of my favorites that I've ever had. It like catapulted me into like more medium format photography and made me really want to get the Contax. So it's taken some of my favorite pictures over the last couple years. I'm just sad that I couldn't take it with me on more trips because it was so freaking heavy. But I got some cool wedding photos and some cool fashion photos. You know, the Contax I think is an upgrade, and you know, some of my favorite photographers use the Contax 645, so, you know, sometimes you just gotta move up and move on, but there's nothing wrong with this camera. I love it, and you'll have fun with it. If you're deciding between the Contax 645 and the Mamiya 645, obviously, like, it's always better to spend more money than less money because it always ends up, you know, getting you something better. But if you just want to try out a medium format camera, you should definitely try this one. Honestly, like, I got the Contax and I've been using it for a little while now, and it's kind of funny because it's almost like too sharp for me. Like, I like look at the pictures and I'm like, these just look like my digital camera. Like, they're just really super crisp, and I don't know, there's not a whole lot of like grain. Even if I use like a grainy film, it's just super sharp, which is awesome, and that's like, you know, what you're paying for, but I kind of just like miss the graininess of like this one, and you know, just a little bit less sharp. So it has a more film vibe, I guess, but the Contax is definitely super awesome, so I'll do a review of that camera too because it's really cool. But this one is just as good. If you're in a lower price range, you'll be happy with it. Well, thanks for tuning into Cameras and Cats today for this review of the Mamiya 645. Make sure to like and subscribe and be nice, and leave questions below, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
How many pictures you got left? Please don't log out. Please don't do it.
Yes. Also, I just finished taking pictures on the beach, and now we're gonna finish the night up with a warm mocha on the side of whipped cream. Look how cute! So close to me. Not an attractive angle. I'm gonna write this off. I'm driving.
Millie.
Ow!
What are you doing?
Capture that angle, you just stand up. I think I broke it. Why are you laughing at me? Oh my god, she is definitely hefty.
Okay.
Look at sunglasses.
You should take a picture of me holding the GoPro.
No, that's
Because it would be cool for the video. It would be cool because it'd be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it would like make sense in the video. It showed, and then
I really don't want to waste a picture on a GoPro. Why are you filming me so close? She's my little Mamiya. She's freaking heavy, just like the camera.
Step on the rock. Whoa. Weird. That was really cool.